Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. In our first story, everyone seems to think that OP works at PetSmart, even people who work at PetSmart. No, I can't sell you fish. But yes, of course I will sell you out. I'm a regular at my local PetSmart. I have a few fish tanks and constantly feel like ogling the betas and other fish they have there. So I'm usually in the fish and reptile corner. It's the closest thing our city has for an aquarium, and the best part is all the exhibits are for sale. Towards the end of August, all the colleges in our area start their fall semester. Also around this time, all the college kids think they want a beta, but don't want to spend money on proper care. For those not in the aquarium hobby, there are 5 things you need for a healthy fish: good water quality, good tank size, good temperature, good hiding spots, and good filtration. Notice I didn't say happy there, fish keepers. Put the pitchforks away. I'm simplifying it for everyone else. However, most of the time, people just toss them in small, unheated, non-filtered tanks and call that good enough. Sure, they're going to live, but they will die a lot sooner than they would if they were taken care of properly. Usually the PetSmart employees in my area are really good about this, but they can only help if they catch someone before they leave. On the surface, fish keeping looks simple. It's just a box of water, right? So people who think they know what to do are common. I was unfortunate enough to come on a college move-in day. College kids buying tiny, unfiltered, unheated tanks for their poor sacrifices to go in them. I go hide with the cichlids, feeling sad as I watch beta after beta go to their inevitable doom. Did you hear me? I said I wanted that one. A guy shoved his face in mine, and it takes all of my self-control not to instinctively punch him. Startled, I respond with the most appropriate thing my brain could come up with. What? That one, he shouts, pointing at the foot-long koi in a display tank. Like an idiot, I respond, how big is your tank? 20 gallons? Now, for those of you who are not avid fish keepers, here's a general rule of thumb. 1 inch of fish, 1 gallon of water. Now, ignore that rule completely when it comes to goldfish and koi. Big koi need at least 75 gallons at minimum. Even PetSmart honors this rule. My brain's still shut down and I'm running on autopilot. That's not big enough. I'm buying the fish. Just give it to me. At this point, my brain finishes booting and I realize he thinks I'm an employee. Granted, black t-shirts do look a lot like blue polos, so maybe he was just confused. I don't work here. You should go talk to one of the associates. Cue the, why else would you be in the fish section? Give me your manager. You're mistreating a customer. An associate comes over and interrupts him, and he starts railing on her. We can only sell koi for tanks of 75 gallons or more, the associate states, completely ignoring him. What size tank is it? You told me 20, I say, just as he says 75. I'm sorry, but we can't sell you koi today, she says. He leaves in a huff. But ladies and gentlemen, this day was not over yet. Apparently, no one else had figured out that I was not working there. I was questioned by a mischief of college students about proper care for their betas. They were polite and receptive to proper beta care, so I actually helped them pick out their supplies, stating numerous times that I didn't work there, but they didn't seem to get it, which is fine, since they were super polite. They ended up much poorer, but with betas that would probably live through all of their college career. After this, I started chatting with a few of the staff. One of the new hires, whom I hadn't seen before, invited all of us to the break room. Sure, I think, slightly confused. In the back room, he tossed me a blue polo and said, put this on, or manager will yell at you. I don't work here. The associate stared at me. F off. Is this some kind of hazing ritual? No one but associates should be helping people on the floor. No, seriously, I don't work here. F you. I'm talking to Smanager about your uniform. We talked to Smanager, and that's when the day went from strange to surreal. Smanager, I got your uniform, John Doe. New associate, so that's why you didn't have yours? Me, I'm not John Doe. New associate, you are too. Me, sick of everything, pulling out my driver's license. I am cynic. I don't work for PetSmart. Awkward silence. Manager says, want to work for PetSmart? Me, no thanks. I always love when your clothes don't match the uniform, but you must work here because you're inside the building. And our second story. I guess the camouflage hid the fact that I wasn't an employee. Pre-Thanksgiving food shopping. It's a nightmare. We all avoid it if at all possible. But when your plans to be a contributor to someone else's overall meal fall through 72 hours out from the main event, you adapt and overcome. Semper Gumby, always flexible. Thus, last night I found myself pulling into my local Walmart neighborhood market, a baby version of the store with limited selection compared to the bigger stores, and no housewares or clothes or outdoor sections, only food and a few aisles of cleaning and toiletry stuff. The parking lot was packed. I've never seen this little market so full of people. As I was trying to check out, there was even a woman in the self-checkout area with an entire cart packed to the brim trying to beep, beep, beep herself out. But I digress. I had to go back and forth through a few rows to even find a parking spot, and chose one that, even though there was a cart propped up on the curb next to it, being the good Samaritan that I am, I pulled the cart off the curb and walked into the store, since I was going to need a cart anyway. Apparently, that's where I went terribly wrong. I approached the door at the same time as a woman arriving a few heartbeats ahead of me. I was off in my own world, plotting out the most efficient route through the aisles in order to get all the items on my list, as well as following Captain Price's orders to check those corners, because that's what all of us super tactical door kicker wannabe guys who are in the military but really just work IT for the base do in our heads. Lo and behold, a wild entitled lady appeared, not from an unchecked corner, but right in front of me. I was rocked from my reverie by the aforementioned woman grabbing my cart and trying to wrench it from my hands. I was going to refer to her as can't understand nice things, but something tells me that would be a poor choice. So I'll stick with entitled lady, and I'll be me. Excuse me, ma'am, what are you doing? Taking this cart that you brought back to the store. Why did you only bring one? There are so many still out there. I should mention at this point, the tiny market only has one entrance. The cart return area for the employees is immediately to the right, inside the double doors. They push the carts in the far end so that under normal circumstances, the carts are just a couple of feet away from the sliding doors. This evening, the nearest cart in that gathering area was about 15 meters down the line, which I understand can appear as though it were an insurmountable distance to cover. There were indeed many carts left in the corrals out in the parking lot, and many still being used by customers actively in the store. I should also mention that I'm in the military and still in uniform, having stopped on my way home from work. That part's about to matter. Well, I only needed one cart, so I just brought the one that was next to my car. EL, oblivious to what I said, bitchiness intensifying, hands still exerting pressure on my cart. You shouldn't be wasting time bringing one cart at a time back from the corrals. No wonder you guys only get paid minimum wage. Now, let go and give me my cart. Me, literally wearing a military uniform, looked down at my chest and then back up to her. Lady, I'm literally wearing a military uniform. This isn't hunting camouflage. It says U.S. Air Force on my chest. What part of this uniform makes you think I work at Walmart? EL, her eyes doing their best deer in the headlights impression, reaching peak bitchiness. Well, why can't you just give me this cart and get another? Well, why can't you just walk your happy butt down there and grab a cart while you enjoy a nice warm cup of shut the F up? I realized the last bit was a bit harsh, but I was polite at the outset, only escalating my harshness to meet her bitchiness. In the moment, it was the only way I saw to feasibly break through her armor of insolence and stymie the bitchiness that seemed to drive everything she said and did. Fortunately, it worked, as in her speechless shock, her grip on the cart faltered, allowing me to break contact and enter the store to execute my shopping. Here's hoping the impromptu meal my wife and I will be cooking later this week will be worth such an interesting experience. And our third story. EP thinks she owns the car. So this happened to my dad. He works as a Lyft driver. This is the story according to what my dad said, first time posting. Once he got the text message, he knew it wasn't gonna go okay. Once he arrived, she jumped in the car and demandingly told him, just like that, make a left on Monroe, go straight to LSD, then take LSD all the way north. While he's looking at her through the mirror, she replied, "You can go, let's go." Okay, and how are you this evening? I'd be better if you would have picked me up 5 minutes ago when you were supposed to. I'm freezing. Sorry, but I got the request 5 minutes ago and I wasn't next to you. I had to drive to pick you up. We are in rush hour in the loop. Lots of traffic. So, you know what? Just shut up and drive. Take me home. No. You shut the door when you get out of my car. This ride is canceled. Once he turned left on Monroe, he pulled over. EP, I'm not getting out. This is my ride and you are taking me home. This is not your ride. This is my personal car and I'm willing to give a ride to any pleasant person who needs it. You are not a pleasant person for me. So get out of my car. I'm not getting out until I get a new ride. It's freezing and you better stop threatening me or I'll call the police. Good, because if you do it, I'll do it. Your ride is canceled. We don't have any connection. This is private property from where you are refusing to leave and I'm working. I have another passenger to pick up in this freezing weather. Please get out. No, I won't. My dad got out, went around, opened her door, and politely said, where people were looking, please, ma'am, will you get out of my car? Your ride is over. I'm willing to give a ride to anyone who needs it, but not with an attitude. And you are nobody to talk to me with an attitude. She finally got out, took a picture of him, he smiled, and of his car. He called Lyft and reported her, and they said they support him 100% because that ride started wrong even before he picked her up. And driving stressed and frustrated is not safe. I know it's not as bad as other people, but I still thought it was interesting. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, it's my first post, and this didn't happen to me, it happened to my dad. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.